You're watching CS 105.1, where I talk about sports and movies with good vibes. And we got some good vibes because Coach Malone tied Doug Moe for the franchise record of most wins, as well as Brody got a triple-double, 200th triple-double. Let's get it. Hey everyone, let's talk sound quality. Imagine having pro-level audio that's easy to set up, flexible, and sounds incredible. That's the Rode PodMic USB. It's got both USB and XLR connections, so whether you're recording solo at home or in a full studio setup, you're covered. And get this, the built-in DSP effects let you adjust the sound with zero lag. You get that deep, smooth broadcast tone right out of the box. It's versatile, powerful, and basically makes your voice sound like pure gold. How's it going, everyone, and welcome. I'm CS Chandler, here for another take of Nuggets basketball. So the Nuggets tonight played the Memphis Grizzlies for their second back-to-back game in Memphis here. And finally, the Nuggets were able to pull out a W out of this without Jokić. So first takes here, again, there was no Jokić. The starters were MPJ, Jamal Murray, P. Watt, CB, and Dario Saric. And I want to take a moment here just because I don't think Christian Braun gets enough praise and enough recognition for the level that he's playing at. The dude has consistently scored in double digits this whole season so far. This was the 13th game. And so far, every single game he's scored in double digits. He needs some recognition there. That's awesome, especially for him. I plan on actually going into the stats here for each of the starters a little later. But if you look at the stats for what he did last year compared to this year, even his rookie year, the year that we won the championship, that compared to this year, the dude is balling. Like, he is straight up, like, he has elevated his skill set on another level. And I really hope that he gets the most improved award, because it definitely, like, he's almost, I think, over doubled the points that he's done, or he's been averaging so far. Again, it's only 13 games, so that might, go down a little bit. But for right now, it's phenomenal what he's doing. So just wanted to throw a shout out to Christian Braun there, CB. And then with this win, Malone tied Doug Moe, former Nuggets coach in the 80s, for the most wins in Nuggets history of 432. So that means now if we're able to get a win on Friday, he will now be the top coach with the wins. And I mean, the fact that there's only 13 games so far and we still have 70 more, a little less than 70, 69 games more, there is definitely a chance he's going to surpass that by a lot. So yeah, the Nuggets won against the Memphis Grizzlies, 122-110. And then Brody, Russell Westbrook, got his 200th triple-double. MPJ and Murray also, they showed up this game. Like, this was a game that finally we got some kind of acknowledgement that they care about basketball. And I understand there's 82 games. They're probably not going to care about every single game the way that we, the fans, care about every single game. They're going to get burnt out at times. And my overall take with Jamal Murray is that I honestly think that he cares too much about basketball, that he needed to find some kind of way to distract himself from it. And that's what MMA brought him. And maybe he went a little bit too hard down the MMA route and started to care more about that. Because I also think secretly that he kind of wants to be Jokić. He's a little bit jealous that Jokić doesn't care so much about basketball and cares more about horses. So he kind of wanted his kind of Jokić thing. That I think that's quite possible, but I think that he's well, and they even interviewed him before the game, and he was saying that he was feeling really upset. Or not even they were interviewing him. It was just kind of heard amongst the locker room that he was really upset and that he knew that he let the team down and everything. He wanted to play better. So we did get a better game from him tonight. It was a little glimmer of the blue arrow of Jamal Murray and his good days. And so hopefully we can see more of that. I don't want to put my hopes up high that we will see it on Friday, but if we do, man, we're gonna win. There's no doubt. If he brings out the blue arrow on Friday, plus we have Jokić back, like, sorry, Mavs, you guys are cooked. We win. Hey everyone, if you're looking for a game-changing webcam that keeps up with every move, you've got to check out the Insta360 link. It's a 4K AI-powered webcam that auto-tracks so you're always in frame, even if you're moving around. Perfect for live streams, meetings, content creating, also podcasts. It adjusts to light, zooms in and out, and follows you naturally. This is hands-free, hassle-free, studio-quality production for anyone who wants professional visuals right from the desk. Insta360 Link is a total game changer. So let's get into the game here. So Memphis controlled the tip right off the bat, but the Nuggets were the first ones to get a bucket, and it was from Dario Saric sinking a three-pointer. Awesome way to start. They get a 5-point lead early, like usual, and like usual, I was just kind of waiting for the other foot to drop. But luckily, we actually never got the other foot to drop. They actually held on to the lead the entire game. Not once did the Memphis Grizzlies get a lead. And that is how the first game should have gone. But, I'm sure they were trying to conserve a little bit of their energy too, because tonight meant a lot more than the previous game, because this was the cup night. So this was the in-season tournament night. Murray actually then had two horrible turnovers. Like for a brief minute there, I was starting to get worried and was like, oh God, Murray's going back to being typical bad Murray. Is that the way that this game is going to look like? And then Dario Saric actually was able to dish out an amazing dime to Christian Braun, but Christian Braun wasn't able to convert the points. But it was a really awesome pass from Dario. The Nuggets bench, when they started playing, continued the bench woes for a good portion of the first quarter. Westbrook gets a blatant offensive foul, and the Nuggets just not able to make shots, but are rebounding better. And so, it was a little bit tense to see them being more aggressive. They're getting the rebounds, but then they're not able to capitalize on the plays there. And the defense overall looked better, but maybe a little too aggressive, because then there was a moment where I think it was Vlatko and MPJ were kind of fighting over the ball and rebounding, which then caused controlling issues, and the other team got the ball because of it. So MPJ is the first Nugget to score in double digits in the first quarter. Started to look like a Porter quarter. And when the quarter ends, the Nuggets actually won the first quarter 31-24. That felt so good. Julian Strawther started off the second quarter amazing with a sinking in a three, getting the Nuggets up to 10. And pretty much from there, they didn't really look back. They never really fell below. Well, no, towards the end they actually did, but for the most part, they never fell below double-digit lead. Strawther with a great block Like you can look it up on Twitter or on Instagram, on YouTube or whatever. But it was an amazing block that Strother had. And just straight up, I hope that they put it in the highlight reel tonight for NBA because it deserves it. And then the amazing thing from tonight was just how many steals the Nuggets were getting. They were stealing so much. It was phenomenal, and it was just the other side of it. The caveat to it was that they weren't able to complete the transition, and they would either sometimes, after getting a steal, lose the ball themselves, or try to make a bucket and it wouldn't go in. Then you could start to see that the Nuggets were getting tired, and they allowed back-to-back buckets with the Grizzlies, and then this was still in the second quarter. Vlatko Cancar got an amazing dunk, but the way he landed totally tweaked the leg that he got an ACL injury in, and you could tell he was shocked as soon as he landed, like something wasn't right, and so we're all worried about him, and hopefully he's okay. They're gonna have to examine him later, further, and hopefully he's okay and he'll be able to play later on in the season or anything. He probably won't play on Friday. I doubt he plays on Friday, but he just from landing, he really tweaked that nerve there, or that injury. So Murray finally sinks a three in the second quarter. He was shooting bricks for a little bit there, and then he finally started to feel it get in, and luckily, the aggressive Williams Jr. went out in the second quarter because, man, was he annoying as shit. He got a sprained ankle, and, typically, again, I'm not one to really be happy about other players on other teams getting hurt and everything, because I do want the full health matchups and everything, but man, he was way too freaking aggressive, and so when he got a sprained ankle, I was so happy to see him go out. Same thing when Zach Edey last game went out. I was like, thank God, these freaking aggressive Grizzlies are like, this is what's gonna happen when you're that freaking aggressive. Jarrett Jackson Jr. almost went out too with a sprained ankle because he actually landed wrong on one of his own players, and so it's like they're just all over the place too much. But then the Grizzlies completely escaped a travel call. I don't know how. There was actually quite a few calls that they escaped after the Grizzlies traveled and they didn't call it. They got a bucket, and immediately P-Watt answered with a three, which was the perfect way to answer to miss calls. It's like, okay, you're not going to call that, then we're going to drain a three. CB got into double digits in scoring in the second quarter. MPJ gets an and one, and getting him to 18 points. Wasn't able to complete the and one, though. He actually had a really rough night with free throws tonight. He had the worst night out of all the Nuggets, and he went to the free throw line the most. And typically, he is one of our best free throw makers. And tonight, we actually should have had a better percentage, but because of how many free throws he missed, it actually brought us down below the Grizzlies for free throws tonight. And then Jamal sank a three, another three, I should say, and then finally chirps back at the annoying Grizzly bench because, man, the Grizzlies were just aggressive, and it's like they had some bad attitude against us. They were making enemies with Nuggets Nation. I'm just going to say that. Before this game, even before the last game, I actually kind of dug the Grizzlies. I've been rooting for them when they're playing other teams and everything. I even was feeling a little bit bad when Draymond Green, clamped down on Zach Edey's ankle and brought him down. But now with how dirty they're playing, they play really dirty right now. I don't know how they're getting away with so many dirty calls or plays, but to see them kind of almost reaping what they sow and everything is kind of gratifying. And then also seeing our Nuggets kind of stand up back to them was also super satisfying. That's what you should be doing. As soon as they're chirping at you, you chirp back and you show them, you shut them up. Like, that's what they need to do, shut them up. And so the Nuggets win the second quarter, 37-33. They go into the half, 68-58. So 11-point lead in the half. And then the third starts, and there's like back-to-back turnovers from both teams. No one can make a basket. There's people, losing control of the ball, players losing control of the ball. And then Scottie Pippen Jr. goes to the foul line and misses both shots. It was beautiful, but then luckily P-Watt got the rebound, and then they were able to get him, he sinks a three. So P-Watt was the first one to make a bucket in the third quarter. MPJ gets 20 with an and one. Once again, not able to convert the and one. And then DJ comes in, DeAndre Jordan, and he gets an amazing dunk, bringing the Nuggets to a 21-point lead in the third quarter. Because the third quarter, the Nuggets really went off. It was really nice. As soon as you got through that little bad start to the third quarter and they started warming up, they really went off, and it was really nice to see them clicking on all cylinders there. The Nuggets then, because of all of this, working hard to get that 20-point lead, they started to get a little bit tired, and as soon as they get a little tired, the Grizzlies knocked their lead down to 19, and they actually got, I think, a 25-point lead at one point. It was amazing. It was just like, oh, can you please sustain this? Because then also, because it's a cup game, there's a point differential. And so the more points you win over your team, the other team, it actually helps you in the standings. And so we won by 12 points tonight, which does help us. But the Mavericks also won tonight, and they won by 41 points against the Pelicans. They did what we should have done against the Pelicans last week. So hopefully, we're still in the running to be able to get the cup or whatever, but I think it definitely helped to win by double digits tonight. So because the Nuggets got their lead up so high, they started to get tired, and because they got tired, the Memphis Grizzlies almost they smelled blood. They got super aggressive, and they started to whittle down that lead down to 19, and then further, and so on and so forth. They kind of threw the Nuggets off of the way that they were playing the entire time, the entire game. And it caused for more turnovers and more missed buckets. The Nuggets weren't gathering before they shot. But then one crazy thing happened was that Russell Westbrook, got a tech for looking at the other player. He went up for a layup, then looked at the player and got a tech. It was the weakest freaking tech that they called. There's so many of those things that, again, it felt like the refs were in the Grizzlies' pocket. Because, why are you going to call Westbrook for looking at another player? He didn't make any kind of face at him. He just looked at him. And then that was a sign for a tech. It was so bogus. So then, luckily, the Nuggets win third quarter, 24-20. Then the fourth quarter, not starting off well for the Nuggets, with the lead cut down to 10. It was a little bit brutal there for a bit. Westbrook was able to sink in two, bringing himself up to 10. Murray sank a couple of threes, taking the Nugs first to 100, to 102 actually. And then he actually sank another three immediately. He got back-to-back, and it almost was looking like we were getting a Murray flurry with back-to-back threes. But the unfortunate thing is when he was getting his threes in, and I think there was even a couple other players on our side that were getting threes in, the Grizzlies were answering back with threes as well, so they were able to stay up with us. And oh my God, Aldama, who is also freaking annoying. He was just glued almost to our guys and was super aggressive in their face, almost harassing them, and wasn't going away. He was like a little gnat, and you just try to bat him off, and he's coming back and biting you every time. That was Aldama. He has kind of proved how much of an asshole he was tonight. And he kept on like complaining when he was going up for a shot that he got hit or whatever, even though he was hitting players left and right all night. He was hitting them, and yet he was complaining like a little baby when he got hit. But then the worst non-call, I feel like, happened with Konchar, who legitimately trips and tackles P. Watt. There was no flagrant call. It was just a foul call, regular foul, and then they had it's a side out call. So it was like there was no flagrant call, there was no review or anything, and like that was completely a dirty move by Konchar, and he could have easily have hurt Payne Watson because he brought his right leg in front of Payne Watson and tripped him. He totally like brought it back, and you could tell that he was almost trying to injure him. Like right now, what the Grizzlies are doing is reminding me of like the early 90s Pistons, the bad boy Pistons, who would legitimately try to hurt the other players to get them off of playing time and like on the injured list. That's kind of how the Grizzlies feel right now with how aggressive they are. And maybe they have some kind of chip on their shoulder for no call being called on Draymond Green or, him not getting thrown out of the game or whatever after clamping down on Zach Edey's leg. And so now they feel like they can get away with whatever they want. And maybe that's also why the refs are allowing them to, because they feel bad for not calling that. I don't know, but there's definitely something there. I feel like that it just feels off because they are way too aggressive. Luckily, CB doesn't let it affect him. He continues to stay focused, and he got a steal plus a dunk, which got him even more points tonight. Like the Nuggets weren't rebounding, though. There was like a huge section there of the fourth quarter where the Nuggets just weren't able to get boards at all. They kept on, I think Scottie Pippen Jr. went up to do a free throw and he missed one, or he made the first one, missed the second, and no one was boxing out the Grizzlies. They were able to get the ball back, and this happened like several times where they would go up for free throws, and the Nuggets wouldn't box out during the second free throw, allowing the Grizzlies to get the ball back. And I think Bane even made a bucket after he missed a free throw because of that. And that happened a couple times. I think it even happened with Scottie Pippen Jr., and it was really annoying. Like they just weren't fighting hard enough to get those rebounds. And sometimes they had to fight too hard. Like they had to start throwing their arms around to try to get people away from them because they were just harassing them a little bit. It was like they were letting them go a little bit too much. I feel like the refs needed to kind of pull back and call some fouls on the Grizzlies. The big moment happened that Russell Westbrook got his 200th triple-double. It was a rebound that sealed the deal. It was, I think, a rebound on the Nuggets end, too. So that was awesome. Westbrook also, at the very end of the quarter, which was like because of how dirty the Grizzlies were playing and how much they were chirping at the Nuggets and everything, normally when you're 10 points or you're with you're so far ahead in the final seconds of the game, it's customary to dribble out the ball out of respect or whatever, but Westbrook didn't do that, and he went straight for the bucket and the layup and got 2 more points for the Nuggets. It was amazing kind of clap back at the Grizzlies for not shutting up the entire game. And so the Grizzlies actually did win the fourth quarter 32-30, but the Nuggets win again 122-110. And I just wanted to, wear my Jamal Murray shirt my jersey, because I think that he deserves props. I think he got way too much heat and hate over the last 2 games. And I know a lot of people, even on my previous episode, were saying how much he sucks and how much he needs to be traded and everything. And I'm sticking with my guy. I'm going to back him up because I know that he's not going to have great games every single game, but he will show up throughout this season. He will definitely have good games, amazing games, and he will remind everyone why he is good. But the big thing is that he's not going to be consistent, and that's going to be a little bit frustrating, and we just have to kind of deal with that. And hopefully during those times where he's not as good, that Michael Porter Jr. steps up, or Aaron Gordon is back and he steps up. So, I'm not worried about Jamal Murray. I think he's going to work hard. So, as a cinematographer, photographer, and now a podcaster, I do believe lighting is everything. And if you're serious about creating dynamic content, you need to check out Nanlite. They're all about precision and control. Whether it's soft, natural lighting or vibrant colors, Nanlite gives you full flexibility to set the mood for any scene. From compact LEDs to powerful softboxes, Nanlite has light solutions that fit every setup. It's ideal for photographers like myself, videographers like myself, and creators who want to pro-grade quality right out on their fingertips. With Nanlite, you're lighting like a pro every time. So let's get into stats here. So Michael Porter Jr. He actually played 40 minutes tonight. You could tell he was tired at the end there, and he was getting really frustrated with the free throws and not being able to make free throws, but he played 40 minutes tonight. The dude was out the entire game. He was a plus 15. But he had 24 points tonight, 11 rebounds, so he got a double-double, 3 assists, 1 steal, 1 block. Every starter tonight got a steal, at least 1 steal, which is amazing. He was 11 for 21 in free throws, so 52%. He didn't get a single 3 tonight, which sucked. He was 0 for 4, but he was 2 for 6 in free throws. So not an amazing Porter Jr. Game, but I think also because he was struggling at times, he found other ways to contribute, and that was where the defense happened and trying to rebound. Because he's one of our bigger guys, he put that to use in getting rebounds a lot and fighting for them. He had 0 turnovers. Strother, and Trey Alexander were and DeAndre Jordan, and actually Zeke Naji are the only Nuggets tonight who had 0 turnovers. So that's awesome. He did have 3 personal fouls, but then Peyton Watson had 15 points, 5 rebounds, 2 assists, 1 steal, 1 block. He was 6 for 10 in field goals, 2 for 5 in 3-pointers, 1 for 1 in free throws. He had 4 turnovers, and then he fouled out tonight with 6. And then Dario Saric, Peyton Watson was a plus 8. Dario Saric had 8 points, 5 rebounds, 1 assist, 2 steals. He was 2 for 6 in field goals, 2 for 4 in 3 points, 2 for 2 in free throws, 3 turnovers, and 5 personal fouls. So he almost fouled out. And then we had and he was a plus 10. So Christian Brown had 19 points tonight, 7 rebounds, 2 assists, 3 steals, 7 for 12 in field goals, 0 for 2 in 3 points, 5 for 6 in free throws. He had 2 turnovers and 4 personal fouls. And then Jamal Murray, he had 27 points tonight, so he was our top scorer tonight with 4 rebounds, 6 assists, 3 steals, 2 blocks. He was 10 for 20 in field goals, 5 for 10 in free throws, 2 for 3 in free throws, 3 turnovers, and 2 personal fouls. So for him to go from, I think he had like 6 or 8 or something like that free throws in the last game to now 3, like he was a little bit more understanding. He was a plus 18 tonight. Christian Braun was a plus 22. So Christian Braun definitely was the most valuable tonight. And then won't read too much of the bench except for Russell Westbrook, who had 12 points, 10 rebounds, 14 assists. He had 2 steals, 1 block, 5 for 12 in field goals, 1 for 4 in 3 points, 1 for 2 in free throws, 5 turnovers, and 3 personal fouls. And he was a -2. So overall, the Nuggets had 53 rebounds to the Grizzlies 55. So we did get out-rebounded by them by 2. We had 29 assists to their 24. We had 15 steals to their 9. And then we had 6 steals to their 10, or blocks to their 10 blocks. We shot at 48% field goals. They shot at 39. We shot at 33% in three-pointers. They shot 23%. We shot 63% from field goals. They shot 61. So, like, that's what I'm saying. Like, if Porter Jr. had scored, even just 2 more of his free throws, that would have definitely upped our percentage there to at least, like, close to 70, if not 70%, 75% or so. And then we had 18 turnovers to their 22, and then 29 personal fouls to their 24. I think the big takeaway from tonight's game was that the Nuggets reminded us not to overreact when we lose 2 games in a row. I think a lot of people they get too caught up in the winning aspect that when a team loses, it's the end of the world. But it's not the end of the world for the Nuggets. I think they are still in a good spot. Like I read before, they're still ahead of the Timberwolves, and the Timberwolves are playing at a high level, even though that they're down. They've kind of gone on the same kind of route of this kind of not knowing their full identity yet and everything, and they've been struggling a little bit too. And I don't think that they're not a contender for this season. I think they are still going to be very much a contender because you have someone like Anthony Edwards, Ant-Man, on that team who is very vocal in trying to get the team energized. And so the fact that we are above them right now, awesome. It definitely says something, and I don't think that we need to freak out as much as we have been. The Nuggets understand the task, and they are doing the best that they can. They could be a little bit better, yes, and there's always going to be stuff to work on and get better. There's stuff from tonight that they can work better with, especially, even Murray can work on it. But this is definitely, just good to see them get a one without Jokić, and then all the stuff that came with it. The fact that tonight was the night that Russell Westbrook was able to get his historic triple-double, 200 triple-doubles, awesome. Coach Malone ties for the most wins in Nuggets history, and we got Murray to get the most points out of the Nuggets. Like, there's so much to gain from this. And even though there's a lot of stuff to clean up as well. So I wanted to go over some of the stats to try to kind of prove my point a little bit more here. And I'm going to start off, first of all, with the man, Jokić. Because for the most part, when you look at these stats, you kind of see, he is having a phenomenal season this time. I mean, each season has been great, but he's just been steadily getting better and better. And so now, like, I know he's only 10 games played this season so far, but he is still averaging 29.7 points. His field goal percentage is 56.3. 3-point percentage is 56.4. Rebounds are 13.7, 11.7 in assists, 1.7 steals. If you look at any of the other players in the league right now that are top contenders for the MVP award, they are nowhere near the stats that he is putting up right now. So that alone, combined with all of the good stuff that the rest of the team is giving, like, we are still very much in the hunt. We are still very much in the conversation for what's good in the top teams right now. And so you can just kind of look down all these the years here. It's phenomenal. Like, he started off not so great. He averaged 9.9 points. That was 10 years ago. Now he is at 29. Like, he elevated his percentage from his first year to now. And again, I know it's only by 10 games. He played 80 his first year. But so far, like, even like if you look at last year's, right, from the first year to last year, it's still almost more than doubles. I think almost triples it. And then we go to Jamal Murray. So if you look at the stats here, you see also in Jamal Murray's rookie year, he averaged 9.9 points. And he steadily got better. Everyone who knows he went off in the bubble, he averaged roughly 21 points. So still not the level of Jokić with 26 points, but still pretty good. I mean, he was definitely enough to make him the second best. And right now, with 9 games played, I think after today it would be 10 games played. So after today, he has 10 games played, same as Jokić, and he has averaged 18.3 points. So that's right around the same area that you want him to be in versus Jokić, because Jokić is always going to be better than him. We don't, like, it would be great for Murray to be as good as Jokić in point averaging, but if you look at the stats together, it's not going to be that. He's always going to be roughly 10 points behind Jokić. And so it's like, we're fine with Murray. Like, we need to stop the trade him talk, because a lot of Nuggets fans and just fans in general are overreacting way too much. The people who know what they're doing are the ones who are getting paid the big bucks to do it. And they understand this point, the stats and everything, and they see more than what we see in the training camps and the training on the practice courts and everything, in the gyms. They see all of that, and they see how they actually are talking to Jamal. We don't talk to Jamal. So, we need to stop with the whole trade Jamal thing, because he's fine. Yes, he's going through a little brief moment here where he just needs to refine himself and his game and everything, but he's going to be fine. Let's move on to Michael Porter Jr., okay? Because a lot of hate also goes his way too sometimes, and there's always like, trade Michael Porter Jr. If we look at his first year, he didn't really play because he got a back injury. And then during the little bit around the bubble area, he also got another back injury. So he got 2 back surgeries, right? But the first year that he really played was 2019 to 2020, where he averaged 9.3 points. Now, or let's just go back to last season, because that's the most recent full season that he played. Played 81 games last season, almost the entire season. Missed 1 game, and he averaged 16.7 points. So that's almost double what he did his first year. And there's been times where he actually has doubled what he's done. So last year wasn't his best year. He was definitely hanging around and still, doing Michael Porter things. But then now within 13 games played, he's averaging 18 points. So he's getting better. If this continues, and I hope, and I have a good sense to see that it will continue. He will have his best season so far. And if you also look at all of these stats I've been showing you, compare it to the championship season. A lot of the numbers that the starters for the Nuggets are pulling right now are very similar to that championship season. Like, I don't think people have any reason to freak out right now because we are still playing very good basketball. It may not look it at times. It may look very sloppy, but we are still playing very good basketball. We are still contenders. Now we go to Christian Braun. So he only has 3 seasons, right? But the first season, he averaged 4.7. Now he is averaging 16.2, from 4.7 to 16.2. I know, again, 13 games played. Last season, he played all 82 games. He averaged 7.3. So already he was almost doubling what he was doing. Now he's he's already over doubling what he did last season. And so just that alone, put up that against what KCP was giving us. KCP was giving us what basically Christian Braun was giving us last season. So the fact that now Christian Braun is actually a starter giving us double-digit point averaging, like, we are even stronger now than we were last season in the almost, I would say, our championship season. So, and now we'll end with Aaron Gordon. So Aaron Gordon in his rookie year was averaging 5.2 points in that season. He only played 47 games, and now he's only played 7 games, but he's still averaging 15.4. If you look through the majority of his seasons, he's been roughly that, 15.4-ish, from like 14 to 15, maybe 16. And so he's doing exactly Aaron Gordon things of what we need him to be doing. And before he had his injury, I legitimately believe that he was in for a great breakout season. And I think that when he comes back from this injury, I think he will still he may have a little bit of rust on him, the first couple of games. But I think we are in for an amazing Aaron Gordon season this year. So all of this is to say is we had 2 losses, 2 back-to-back losses, and everyone started to think that the sky was falling. And the Nuggets are good. We need to remind ourselves of that. They might lose horribly at some games, and it might be some really embarrassing games, but we're still have so much more of the season left. This isn't the final part of the season. This isn't close to the playoffs, or this isn't even in the playoffs yet, right? We're still in November. This will go until April, and then even beyond that, because you better believe that we're making the playoffs. So we're going to be going well into May, if not June. So we all need to calm down whenever the Nuggets lose 1 or 2 games. We know they're going to be, especially Malone. A lot of people don't believe me that the Malone is the top 5 best coach in the NBA right now. The one thing that makes him one of the top 5 is just how personal he takes losses. And you better believe he will not stand for a 3rd loss in a row. Last season, we almost had 3 losses. Didn't happen. 2 losses in a row, and then 3rd one, we won. So the most that we're going to lose in a row is just 2. Better believe it. And I don't want to hear anything otherwise, because Coach Malone is amazing, and the record shows it. He is now tied for the most wins in franchise history. He is going to excel beyond that. He brought us our first championship. So Coach Malone is awesome. I don't know what's going on with the rest of the office, and if anything else, it's more of what Calvin Booth does. And Coach Malone has been amazing this season to be able to pivot around what Calvin Booth does. So just want to get that out now. Like, Coach Malone is awesome. Jamal Murray is awesome. The Nuggets are awesome. And we might, and this is not all, we won tonight. And I know there's going to be a lot of people are riding this wave now of the high of winning and everything, forgetting what it felt like to lose. And then as soon as we lose, we're going to crumble even further down than the way that we feel right now, or the way that we felt before. But when that does happen, just keep in mind the Nuggets will win again. I promise you, the Nuggets will always win again, whether it's in the next game or the game after that or the game after that. But it will happen in a short turnaround. I promise you that. Now, the next time the Nuggets will be playing, it will be on Friday against the Mavericks. It will be another cup game, and hopefully Jokić will be back. And I believe Luka will be available as well for the Mavericks, so it will be a very tight game. But this one will be in Denver. Like I said before in a previous episode, with these cup games, there are 4 games in regular season for each team. And there's 2 of them that are away games, 2 of them that are home games. We have now completed our away game portion of the in-season tournament, and we are now going to be moving into the home game version. And so now the last 2 matches for the regular season for the in-season tournament is going to be the Mavericks, and then on the 3rd of December will be the Golden State Warriors. They'll be in Denver. So looking forward to that, and we'll see how it goes. Now, before I end the podcast, I also wanted to give a kind of a little review of what happened in the NBA today. And one amazing thing to keep the good vibes going, OKC lost tonight. So that freaking rocks. Way to go for the Spurs of getting that W over the one of the who actually was the top seed, because yesterday, unfortunately, the Golden State Warriors lost to the Clippers. They should have won, should have tied it, but they lost, and so they dropped to the 2nd seed, allowing the OKC to go back up to the 1 seed. And now, luckily, the Spurs won, and so that will drop them back down. And I believe now the Warriors are back up to the 1 seed. And so but also just happy that OKC lost, because now they're 1-1 in the tournament. And then one crazy game was the Cavs versus the Celtics. I was really, really hoping that the Cavs would win and continue their streak, because I really wanted the Nuggets to be the ones that end their streak. That's kind of what happened last season with the Celtics and their streak. The Nuggets were the ones to ruin it, and I was really looking forward to that happening this year with the Cavs. Also, the fact that I just hate the Celtics so freaking much, and I hate their announcer. Oh my God, like I had to put that game on mute at times, because I just couldn't bear that announcer calling out threes, and whenever the Celtics would make a bucket or whatever. I've wanted to go to a Boston Celtics game and everything, just to cheer against them, but I don't think I can make it through just because their announcer is so freaking annoying. But the Celtics unfortunately won. They ended the streak of the 15-0. Now they're 15-1 for the Cavs. And then the Mavericks, like I said, they won big time over the Pelicans, won by 41 points. It was at 132 to 91. Crazy. And then the Lakers game just ended a little bit ago, so I haven't got a chance to look at that. But at the end of the day, I just really hope that I'm backing up my Nuggets, backing up my Knicks, and as long as they're in the conversation, we're going to have some good vibes. So that's all I got for this episode. I hope you enjoyed it. Please give it a like and subscribe. Share it out to your friends and family. And you've been listening to CS 105.1, where I talk about sports and movies with good vibes. I'll catch you later.